one single question about your Paragon board. Are you using at least 6 glyphs? And then the answer is no, you're doing it wrong. But it's easy to fix. This is now a Necro board, but it also goes for my Druid and for my Rogue, each using 6 different glyphs. And yes, Tears of Blood exists, but Tears of Blood won't exist next season, so I'll keep this now without Tears of Blood, but mention also how this factors in at the end of the video as well. Now, generally, the Paragon board and glyphs are there to provide us multipliers, with 10% multiplicative more shadow damage to shadow damage affected enemies, or 20% multiplicative more damage against stunned or frozen / slowed. What's not worth it, and I used to do wrong, is additive damage. This is plus 5%. Now, plus 5% doesn't hurt, but technically, it's useless 2 points that you could push more towards another glyph like Exploit, which will give you 10% multiplicative. I mean, doing 10 million damage and then another 10%, or doing 10 million damage and getting plus 5%. Kind of makes sense, right? The additive nodes that are not wasted in the Paragon board, for Necro for example, are critical strike nodes. Why are critical strike nodes so good? Because we have the multiplier with our Iron Golem. So every critical strike node I take is additive, but then it's x 30% on top. And the same actually goes in case of Necro for Overpower, if you're going for Overpower, because that's another 25% on top, multiplicative. And that theme actually continues with shadow damage as well. So if I can take a wee bit more shadow damage, that gets also multiplied afterwards. Therefore, taking these nodes with shadow damage and shadow damage over time plus, they're actually working quite nice for this. What we're mainly looking for in the Paragon board is actually getting our resistances up to get our armor a bit higher, because these are so easy armor values. I mean, that's another 300 armor you're getting, plus then your total armor percentage multipliers, which is fantastic. And lastly, there's also the sneaky resistance to pick up. This one gives me 20 poison and plus 100 armor. Advantage of this resistance being, in my case, that I now get poison resistance overcapped without needing a gem. I get shadow resistance overcapped because of the Paragon board as well. And then with the last 3 gems, I only have to take care of cold, lightning, and fire. So I don't even have to put in diamonds. I could probably even socket out the fire. Yep, the fire, to actually put in an armor skull to boost this even more and bring me closer to the cap without needing disobedience. How do we now, though, get through this Paragon board to really get 6 glyphs in? Because the pathing can sometimes be tricky. And here it's for you to identify the shortest ways in and out of Paragon boards. For example, we have the Flesh Eater one here for Necro. And in this case, we're using the Essence Glyph. The Essence Glyph is a dexterity one. And if we're looking at where are the dexterity nodes located in the board, there's 1, 2, 3 extremely close from this side, and there's another one where you actually enter from below, plus the dexterity nodes are all on the lower portion. So if we actually want to play the Essence Glyph in here, then it would be more opportune to enter this board from the lower side than from the upper side. I would get these 2, right? But then I'm having these 3 intelligence that don't do anything for me. Sure, we could go over the resistance to all elements, but we're just taking this here barely. And we also need to go out somewhere, and we need to reach the Flesh Eater. So I could now go over this, but the way to the Flesh Eater over here is wasted real estate, because there's also the critical strike damage node that we can snack off below this. And that's where the perfect way in is either from the top or from the side. So we can take this poison resistance node that we talked about. And then if you're trying to leave, and here also comes the Tears of Blood glyph in, I want to leave on the bottom, so I can take this critical strike damage dexterity node for free, and some more intelligence, which works very well with my Wither. Now, obviously, if I had the Tears of Blood, I could just slam it in here, and I already have half of the core stats taken. And I could easily weasel out some more additive damage to then turn that into the multiplier for the Tears of Blood. Now the same goes for the Wither board. In the Wither board, you want the legendary node, but you also want to have the glyph. Now we have 2 ways to do this. You can either choose a minimal way in the bottom below, leave the whole middle portion open, and then over the Flesh Eater board, you can find a way to move into the witherboard. So like going in a roundabout and essentially just taking up and down. In this case, there is a good node here that we can take with a pathing. But then if we actually take the pathing of the shadow damage to shadow damage over time effect and damage to elites node, you can go up into the Scourge glyph for multiplicative damage. But as we're going up, we're already taking 2 intelligence nodes, and we're also paving the way for getting this rare one for the 10 bonus intelligence. So we're not essentially wasting a single point to get in here. And the same as we're going out, we can go out on the right side, that is possible, or we can go on the top side. On the top side, we would take another plus 5% shadow damage, and it's in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We could also go out on the right side, but that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which would then give us also 2 intelligence as we get here, but we would be missing out on the 5% shadow damage. So again, 2 points saved, like minimal better passing to then be able to go everywhere for real. Now we need to go into the next board with Send of Death, and we wanted to play the control glyph. Now it also helps to know which board is actually good for which glyph. And for this, I recommend the Mobalytics Talent Planner for any class. Barbarian, we're going for Necro here, Paragon, and I can add whatever board I feel like. Here we have the Send of Death that we just talked about, and I will add a glyph, for example, Control, which is Intelligence, and you can see how many Intelligence nodes it has. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if I was going for a Imbiber now, which is Willpower, then we can also see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if I go for Imbiber, I can take these easy in the middle, right? You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for these, well, I can get 2 when I'm going out, but getting the rest takes now a huge amount of bonus effort, right? A diversion of points to even get these. So the intelligence nodes, they can just easily be taken on the way. When I'm entering this from the bottom because I wanted the crit, and then I want the crit on the side, right? Because they get multiplied up if we're going for the crit build. And then I can move up into the board, and here I took the right side because I was going into the right side as well. That makes me miss out on 3 intelligence, because if I went over the left, I could take 3 more intelligence, right? But it would be also another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, or 6 points into here. And then I still have to go into the right side. So I still have to move over here, right? So I'm not saving this. But again, I can take left and right extremely easy. And then on my way out, there's another 3 int nodes to take without wasting a single point. Works perfect. And I just wanted to activate the 20% multiplier. And as we're going out, that is then the next way into the next board, and that would be the Bloodbath. And here we simply wanted to activate our exploit glyph. Don't get much more vulnerable damage because they nerfed how the multiplier works over together with critical strike and overpower, but still being able to get the 10% multiplier is fantastic, especially in this board. And here, for example, we can flip a glyph too. That's an int instead of a willpower. But this is the perfect dex board. Why? Because we want to take the damage while fortified node. That doesn't hurt us to take, right? And on the way in already, we're taking 1, 2, and then down here, that's 3 dex taken without any diversion. If I wanted to take anything else in the Bloodbath board, like let's say we want to go for a willpower glyph. Well, yeah, I mean, I would have to enter from this side to make it possible, right? So we have to flip the whole board around and then go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6, 7, have these 2 straight away taken. Then we go probably 8, 9, boop, boop, boop. See, this would be the way to kind of take these. But if we wanted to have the bonus big willpower nodes, right? That would be for another healing received in 10 intelligence, which is useless. So inherently, this is just made perfect for a dex glyph, because you can easier take dex on the way, but there is also the dex next to the int node you kind of want. And then lastly, as I went over here to take the crits, I can super easy make my way over into the final board, in this case Bone Graft, because there's another huge resistance to all elements node taken. And not only that, there's easy dexterity to be had. There's easy willpower to be had, because we do need 29 willpower for this. Now, obviously, you can see that this is also a very good dex node. I mean, you're having 1, 2, 3, 4 dex already taken on the way without going anywhere else. But since I'm planning to take the resistance to all elements, and I'm not planning to take percentage critical bone skill damage, blah, what, it makes perfect sense to actually clap willpower in, because we're going essentially down here anyways, taking the double pathing. Now, if I truly wanted to be creative, if I truly wanted to weasel some points out, this is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 20% shadow damage over time, but plus 20% shadow damage over time, which is not very much. If I'm saying, okay, we're not actually going for crit, we're going to focus on just the multiplier on our corpse explosion, for example. We're going to make maximum exhumation right now, which would mean that I'm weaseling out every point anywhere where I have taken crit. That would allow me to take better pathings left, right, and center. So, for example, we can remove these crits here completely. We can remove that board on the side for now, because now we can take a little bit more optimized passings when we're saying we want 7. Because, you know what? 6 sounds great, but 7 is even more efficient, right? So now we have 44 points left over. And we went already here all the way to get the dexterity nodes, right? And now, where is the fastest way out? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's quite long. Then back here, if you take this, you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to actually get out. Now, we could also go over this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a little bit longer. Rather consider going out here, for example, getting another dex, or we could go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's okay. Bringing us out quite simple. Could also go over this and probably save 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we can't really save, so we get like another 50 armor for going out here, and then we still have 34 points left. We're still going into the bone graft board. What we're going to do though is we're going to flip this so it leads out on the top. So now that when we're going in to essentially claim our glyph here, and we had the desecration going on, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But now we're missing willpower, obviously. But we're actually not going to make any headway to take a bonus willpower. We're just going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 to move our way into the next board. Now we're still missing one single willpower node, which can easily be had here. And we have 7 more points to go. So we get the, in this case, probably Blood Begets board, which would be easy to reach if you go for an intelligence node, for example. Gotta find though, which other glyph do we want? For our build, it would be Territorial. That's another 10% damage reduction and more damage versus close. That would be easily taken with 25 dex. Or we would need Darkness, but that would be 40 int. So where is now a board that we can just really easy take 25 dex? In this case, with the Blood Begets board, I couldn't really take 25 dex easy. There's 1, 2, 3. There's some up here. So if we're checking which boards we have left, that was Blood Begets, Hulking Monstrosity, and also Cult Leader. Now we're going to check which one does have the best dex, the easiest dex to reach. For example, Cult Leader, if we're going for the Territorial, has 1, 2, 3, really simple, and then another 3 actually. So getting to this is really quick, and then having all these delivered to us. In comparison now with the Hulking Monstrosity, the Hulking Monstrosity has the thing here right in the middle somewhat. And if we're going now for a dex-based node, that would be 1, 2, and then 3. And then we would have to go up here to get another 2. It's a bit iffy-jiffy, to be honest. Lastly, as we said, there was the Blood Begets. And yeah, if we put another dex in there, it's all over the place. So right now, Dead Razor, the minion board, is actually the optimal one to take. Cult Leader. And we're going to turn this. Now we can already go for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're missing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Kinda. So we miss a few more points that we easily need to weasel out somewhere. That we need to get some more. Now you could consider, maybe do I need this? Do I need the poison resistance? Is this where we could cut some corners? Here's another 8% damage to elites that you could technically cut out, which would give you 1 point, then you could say, okay, there's another 8% damage to elites that we could cut out. There's 8% damage reduction, but I really don't want to get rid of that, right? That's a lot, to be honest. And we talked about not going for crit anymore, so that's another 3 that we can weasel away. And then when we can actually weasel away these 3, we could have also taken a different entrance into this board. But the entrance is still quick. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, it's a slightly better one. Not much, but we'll take any point to just make it a wee bit more convenient to, you know, save a little bit more on the side. We go 1, 2, 3. And then we have some more points to already invest straight away. And we're going for 1, 2, 3. That would give us the territorial glyph we talked about. It's already at 10. We could bring it up to 17. The problem is if I bring it up to 17 here right now, I still need 2 more. So might as well not leave this and go 1, 2, 3. And then we just need 1 more, which is essentially up here. But we still notice how easy it is to actually get into this. Now the question rather would be, is this actually a bit faster? No, it's the same amount of points, right? We took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually get to the first one, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now it would be 8, 9, 10, so the triple and then the 4. But we would only have to go here. Not sure if the way around, but yeah, we're just missing 1 single point to even make this happen. And that point could be easily as take 2% max life away down here. But for this, for the 2% max life minimal, you get 10% damage reduction. What's better, having 2% more life or taking 10% less damage? Ask that the enemy that's doing 10,000 or 20,000 damage per hit. And the answer is quite simple, right? And this is how we suddenly have 7 glyphs activated for the total of this build. And that seems really stretched, seems really doing many compromises. But realistically, this is now a non-crit damage build, for example. If I was obviously going for a crit damage build, then you have to consider that the 7th glyph in this case wouldn't be worth it because your overpower damage, your shadow damage, or your crit damage gets multiplied by your sacrifices in your Book of the Den. Now go out there, change your Paragon boards, and tell me in the comments below, how many glyphs are you using? Is it 6 at least? Have you already been using 6, or does this help you to make your passings a little bit better? Also, if you want to know more about how armor works and why you're dying, or if the power level of an item is really that important, check it out.